Everyone knows I like making speculations on future support for cards, as we've seen over the past years, and honestly it's very fun making custom cards sometimes. And today we're going to be looking at a deck that hasn't had support in 13 years, being Vylon. This is a dual terminal deck from Dual Terminal 5 and 6 from Steel Swarm Invasion and the other Omega Exceed set. So what is wrong with this deck? It has 26 total cards, and a lot of the cards don't really work together, but they have a structure in the deck that actually works somewhat, being the equipped spells searches out the other equipped spells, and we also have the monsters treating themselves as equipped cards. So how am I going to make this deck functional in a way that you could still play these cards? Well, I spent the day yesterday reading all the Vylon cards, having feedback with some of my friends, to see what we could do, and honestly, you need Snake Eye level support to make this deck broken, so that's what I did. And we have 4 total cards going off the Terminal World structure, like how they've been doing with Terminal World 1 and Terminal World 2, and let's see what I have created for these cards. Now there's 2 main deck monsters, a spell card, and a synchro monster, so let's get into it and let's talk about it. So we have Vylon Emperors. It is a level 4 light machine effect with 1500 attack and 1800 defense, because I noticed one thing about the Vylon cards: their attack and defenses are whatever, and their tuners, their tuners are also whatever as well. So it's a little interesting to see what they can do. This is, of course, the machine effect monster, and if you control a Vylon monster, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, and if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon 1 Vylon tuner monster from your deck or graveyard. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can add 1 Vylon card from your deck to your hand. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the X deck except synchro monsters, and you can only use each effect of Vylon Emperors once per turn. Now, why did I make it where if you control a Vylon monster, you could special summon this card from your hand or graveyard? Well, it is an activated effect, so to summon it out, so you will always have a monster in the graveyard to summon back every turn. Now, honestly, it's going to be very interesting to see how this card will adapt to the Vylon deck, because if it summons itself, you could just summon out a free tuner from the deck or graveyard. And this can get literally everything of the deck, so you can go into your main synchro plays. And that's why I do have the accept synchro monsters, the synchro monster lock, because that's what I only want you to be doing with this card. Because I know players love to try and mix a lot of things into decks, as we saw over the past few years, but this is specifically just to make synchro monsters, but you could still make Chaos Angel, which is very, very important, because I only want it for synchro monsters and synchro summoning. But enough chatting on that. Being able to add any Vylon card from your deck to your hand is really good, especially getting to any of your equip spells. Now, one of the things I do have to say is that synchro summoning in this deck is super easy because they have the utility to do so. So I decided, let's make a Mobius Strip. Now this is the next shape in the whole entire tuner lineup, and it's a level 3 fairy tuner effect monster with 1000 attack and 1000 defense. You can send 1 Vylon equipped spell from your deck to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot attack. You can only attack with Vylon monsters for the rest of this turn. That is kind of important, because if you're going to be summoning out multiple monsters, you can only attack with those Vylon monsters. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a Vylon card, which itself, you can add 1 Vylon equipped spell from your deck to your hand with a different name from your graveyard. So think of it of a way where if you already have 2 equipped spells, you can't add either of those, so you have to get a 3rd one. And honestly, it's a very interesting thing that you can get multiple of your equipped spells from the other equipped spells, so you're going to get as many equipped spells as you can. And of course, it's going to have the tuner effect of if this card is sent to the field to the graveyard, pay 500 life points and target 1 face-up monster you control, equip this card to that target. And I added into this card a lovely effect of if you synchro summon a light synchro monster, you could treat this equipped card as a level 3 light tuner. So if you open up something on the lines of Emperors and Strip, you have a full combo into a level 7 up to Omega instantly, which is actually really good, because Omega is the key card of the deck, as it is the main boss monster, because it starts with Alpha, then you end in with Omega. So being able to get into a Omega immediately is one thing that I wanted the deck to do, and these two cards do just that, as you need to have them on a custom card level. So overall, I definitely think Vylon should be getting monsters that can use themselves in this spell and trap card zone as if they're equipped as synchro material, as these were made 12 years ago, or 13 or more years ago, we should say, that these things need a lot of updating. They have a good boundary, a good structure, but giving them a way to get into their synchro monsters faster could definitely fix their issue. And speaking about synchro monsters, we have Vylon Lambda, a level 9 light machine synchro effect monster with 3000 attack and 2300 defense. I totally forgot the synchro line for the typing. But I definitely think that they should get a new level 9 monster because it's one of the easier ones to make in the deck, and also you can use the spear to go up into Omega. Now, this could have been a level 7. I could have been that person, but I'm not going to be that person. So let's get into it and let's talk about this card. So it takes a light tuner plus one or more non-light tuner monsters, and if this card is synchro summoned, you can take one Vylon monster or equip spell from your deck or graveyard up to the number of synchro monsters used for this card. Either add them to your hand or equip it to the card. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Vylon monsters. You can only use this effect of Vylon Lambda once per turn, and you can send one Vylon equip card you control to the graveyard. Send one card your opponent controls to the graveyard, and you cannot send equip cards with the same name as to activate this effect except of Vylon Lambda. So, sorry about that gibberish at the end. It's literally an access code talker for Vylon, as that's what is one thing I wanted the deck to have. So let's break this down easily. If it's synchro summon, you could take Vylon monsters or equip spells from your deck or graveyard up to the number of synchro materials you use for this card, so either 2 or 3 most of the time. You're either going to add them to your hand, or you can equip it to this card, so you instantly have 3 things, or as many sends that you can use, which is very useful. So you can go up into this, send the 3 to pop cards, and your equip spells will get their effects of searching out another equip spell. So that is one thing I did want to consider, which I did. Now, for the other effect, it's a line off of Access Code Talker where you, instead of banishing link monsters, you're sending the equip spells you control to the graveyard. So you could send a non-target send cards your opponent controls to the graveyard, and you're limited to how many equip cards with different names you can go through. So most of the time, if you equip 3 equip spells, or you equip 2 monsters in equip spell, you can go through a total of 8 different names, which honestly is really crazy to think about. And that's why it's the odd level of a level 9, because it's going to be a little harder to make, but it's still possible to do if you use the level 2 tuner and with the alpha to go into this, or your level 7 monster Vylon Delta to synchro into this, or whatever you need. So honestly, it's one of those cards that I definitely think that the deck could get, being a big boss monster that can wipe out your opponent's board, but it's not breaching onto the territory of Omega being the boss monster that you want to end on. And then finally, let's get into Vylon Call. Now, I made this a normal spell card. I was thinking of making an equip spell, but it would be very weird because I want Konami to explore new territory in the spell and trap card zones with cards being treated as other type of cards. So we have monsters treating themselves as different types and attributes compared to their original, while I want them to see how this would work, being treating this card as an equip spell while it's in the deck or graveyard. So it's a normal spell and an equip spell at the same time. So you can use Armory Call or something like Triple Tactics Thrust to search it. And you can only use each of the following effects of Vylon Call once per turn. Discard one Vylon card, add a Vylon monster and a Vylon spell card except Vylon Call from your deck to your hand. This is necessary because you need to get to your Vylon monsters, and it's another way to get to your Vylon equip spells. Or if you need something like Polytope, or even the Vylon Matter. And you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon up to 3 Vylon monsters from your deck with an equal or lower level than the number of equipped spells you control or in your graveyard. So you're going to be going through a lot of equipped spells anyways. And one of the things you need to consider with the deck is that, hey, they are based around equipped cards. So making the spell card, the new one, an equipped spell can actually help because you can search out into the Emperors, or you can get to the Mobius Strip, and then you can also get another equipped spell with this. On top of the fact, you can get instantly 2 or 3 equipped spells into the graveyard, so you can banish this to summon out a level 2 and a level 1, or 2 level 1s, so you can go up into these odd numbers. Because if we look at how I have it set up, we have a 4 and a 3, that makes a 7, summon out 2 spears, so you can go up into an 8 and then up into your lambda, so you're going to be getting 2 more to attach to this. And then if you have a way to reborn the spear, you can go up into an omega. So there are ways to get into the whole entire engine just by this card alone, where it makes you run cards that you don't want to, but you have to. But enough of me going on with this support. Let me know what you all think about this Vylon support, because it's a thing that I want to see happen in the future with the next Terminal World, or even in a future core set or side set. But anyways, I've been BoltSpider. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. If you would want to, hit that like button if you're new here, and if you also would like to support the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell, because I think like 6% of you all are subscribed. But I have been BoltSpider. Yeah, but see you all in the next video.